Welcome to the beginning of ESPN's unprecedented 3 days worth of live coverage from the 2011 U.S. Open. The field has been trimmed from 383 to 24 of the world's best bowlers. Tonight, a first for national television as we present match play coverage as the drive to make the TV finals of the fourth and final major of the PBA season kicks into full gear. For the sixth time, Brunswick's own Carolier in North Brunswick, New Jersey, is your host venue for the Lumber Liquidators U.S. Open. Over the course of the next hour, we will look in on 8 lanes of action as the field continues their march towards the TV Finals, which begins tomorrow night right here on ESPN2 at 10 p.m. Eastern. And we are glad you're here with us for our live coverage. Rob Stone and PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson here with you. We begin with a quote from what else? Rocky III, right? Hang with me here. Clubber Lang, when asked about predictions before his big title match versus Rocky Balboa, the prediction was pain. If you ask any of the PBA pros coming into any U.S. Open, their prediction would be one word as well: brutal.
You're right, and on all fronts. First and foremost, the format. Second, the oil pattern. This is the toughest oil pattern these players will face all season long. The sheer number of players that started this event at 383. But I think, Rob, the most defining fact of this tournament is that this crown has only been successfully defended once in the last 40 years, and that was by Dave Husted back in the mid-90s. Make no mistake about it, the United States Open is the toughest tournament to win in professional bowling.
Bill O'Neill is your defending champ. He's in good position right now to defend that crown. As we take a look at our tournament format right now, and where we are is the highlighted area, the 24-game round-robin match play. The big point is we're going to be seeing coverage of games 7 and 8. You also have to realize this is head-to-head match play. The winner of each head-to-head match earns a 30-pin bonus, which is huge, Randy, considering the talent of the field and the challenging conditions.
Yeah, and as tough as it is to get each and every pin, winning your match is massive.
Take a look at our top 10 leaderboard right now, and it is a very fluid situation. These names and numbers are constantly being updated. People are falling in and out of that 6-man cut zone. Again, the top 6 advance to the stepladder finals. One of the themes of this top 10, there's a whole lot of former U.S. Open winners on that list.
You see, Norm Duke is taking the lead due to the fact that he is undefeated thus far in match play.
And we take a look at the 4 matches we will be highlighting here in Game 7 and across 8 lanes worth of coverage. But we have a developing situation over on lanes 23 and 24. There's Pete Weber, PD Dub, about half an hour ago, and walking away from that shot with a little pain and discomfort. Some worry if Pete would be able to continue. For more on that, we'll catch up with Mike Jakubowski, who caught up with Pete Weber just moments ago.
With 4-time champ Pete Weber, Pete, Game 5 looked like an issue with a leg issue. What's going on?
Yeah, I've hurt my right leg. It could be my groin muscle. It could be my hamstring in the back, but it sure hurts. And, you know, when I really stretch through the shot, I mean, it really pulls on it, and I could really feel it, and that's why you see me limping a little bit out there.
Is it anything that's going to keep you out of competing here in Game 7 and 8?
The only thing that's going to keep me out of bowling this tournament is if I can't walk, if I can't lift the ball, or I'm dead. I'm going to finish this tournament. Last time I was here, I was 120 pins off the show, and I had to withdraw because I did something to my side, you know, and with 8 games to go, 120 pins out, you got to go for it. So, but I am finishing this tournament no matter what.
Pete Weber, 4-time champion, you're going to have to beat him if you want to prevent this man from winning his 5th.
Well, thank you, Mike. Pete Weber, live look in on him right now. He is currently in 9th place. Again, there will be 2 more rounds of round-robin play tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, which will determine the 6 who make the TV show, which again begins tomorrow night on ESPN2 at 10 p.m. Eastern. You'll see 2 live matches, and then the finals on Sunday, 3 o'clock on ESPN. So let's take a look at how Pete Weber is dealing with that right groin injury.
Boy, you really saw it right there, Rob. You see the little hop there at the foul line, and you never see Pete Weber do that. But keep in mind, as Pete said, you'd have to take him off of the lanes, kicking and screaming right now. He is only 64 pins out of that 6th and final spot. A lot of games left in this tournament.
And for more on the Pete Weber situation, we send it back to Mike J.
Gentlemen, just talked to Chris Schlemmer, the Storm ball rep, and dealing with Pete Weber. He said he's going to try to keep his feet slow and compensate by using his upper body to get through games 7 and 8. Even match right now. Rash up 2nd frame. With pin count and a spare, Weber will lead by 1.
Weber, the 48-year-old from St. Anne, Missouri, just outside St. Louis, taking on Sean Rash in this match. Rash will take care of that spare. Sean recently moved to the Chicago area with his fiancée.
And Rash currently in 13th. He's 154 out of the 6th and final spot. Remember, the players that are on the outside looking in, they're looking at that 6th spot right now, currently occupied by Chris Barnes at plus 529. That's 529 pins over a 200 average, including bonus pins.
And there are 4 players within 87 pins of that 6th spot currently being held by Chris Barnes. Here is Rash again, top of the 3rd. A little loft on that one as well.
Well, and again, this is what we see typically at the U.S. Open. Players playing the deep inside line because of the very flat oil pattern.
We'll head a little to the right of their match, lanes 29 and 30. A good one going on here between Bill O'Neill and his good buddy, the two-handed thrower from down under, Jason Belmonte. Here is O'Neill, your defending U.S. Open champ.
And again, such an emphasis put on shot making at the United States Open. A little extra speed, the ball sails through the end of the pattern, a little too soft. It's not going to hold line. A true emphasis on shot making in this event. See the deep inside line there. Bill O'Neill trying to use a real soft hand to get that bowling ball to push to the right. Unfortunately, that shot never recovered down lane, but converts the single pin spare after going back-to-back open frames in the 1st and 2nd frame.
Here is Jason Belmonte. Only 1 tour title on his resume. He won the Bowling Foundation Long Island Classic March 29th of 09. A young man from Orange, New South Wales, Australia. He has been throwing it with a lot of loft lately as he gets all 10 to drop there.
And we saw a little bit of this at the World Series of Bowling, Rob, where the lane started to break down and force the players to the extreme deep inside angle. The players with the high rev rate that could loft the left gutter, they had a lot of success, and that's why you're seeing Jason Belmonte currently in that number 4 position.
Again, a 30-pin bonus if you win your head-to-head game. A 15-pin bonus for both should there be a tie.
Bill O'Neill currently in 3rd, Jason Belmonte in 4th, but 160 pins separate the two.
Look how far left Belmo is starting on this one. He is attacking the left gutter with his foot.
And one of the keys to a U.S. Open, Rob, is staying out of trouble and avoiding open frames. You can see the airtime that ball gets, but unfortunately there's not enough lane left to get that bowling ball to recover, leaving the 257. Looking to stay clean. All he's trying to do right here is make the baby split, the 2-7, throw the 2-pin into the 5.
And he does, so.
Or you can do it that way.
A triple worth of spares in game number 7 of his matchup with Bill O'Neill. Our live coverage of the 68th Lumber Liquidators U.S. Open returns after this. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Mike Jakubowski. Welcoming you back to the Brunswick Zone Carolier here in North Brunswick, New Jersey. Our continuing live coverage of the U.S. Open, day 1 of 3. Tomorrow night on ESPN2, 10 p.m. Eastern. There's a live look at Greenville, South Carolina's Tommy Jones. He is currently taking on your current tournament leader in Norm Duke over on lanes 27 and 28. 13 tour titles for TJ. A 3rd and a 4th place finish this season thus far for Jones.
Taking them 2 little baby steps. I think it's just, I'm sorry, Rob, I think it's just great that for the first time in 52 years, the fans get a glimpse of what it's like during the week just to get to TV. And you see where the players are already standing in front of the bar return. They're into their 7th game of match play tonight. Lane conditions, oil patterns breaking down, forcing the players way in. Tommy Jones already standing in front of the bar return. And just a huge emphasis on what match play is all about, and that's the 30 bonus pins for beating your opponent.
So Jones opened up this game 7 with 3 straight strikes. Since then, some spares for TJ. And the parallel I made to you earlier today about our coverage, our unprecedented coverage here of match play, is it's the ducks swimming on the water. You know, on Sundays, what you're used to seeing from us is this very clean show, 1v1, everything's clean. But today is kind of what's going on under the water. A lot of action, a lot of moving around, and you get a better sense of just the constant week-long battles these guys go through to make the TV shows. We move now over to lanes 29 and 30. Bill O'Neill taking on Jason Belmonte.
And with a strike here, Bill O'Neill can take the lead away from Jason Belmonte midway through this game. Remember, Bill O'Neill opened the 1st and 2nd frame.
So back-to-back jacks for the real deal, Bill O'Neill. O'Neill won last year's U.S. Open, also won last season's Chameleon Championship. O'Neill currently with that plus 712 in 3rd place. Again, the top 6 will make tomorrow night's TV show. 2 more rounds of match play take place tomorrow, so this is kind of kicking off the match play grind.
Norm Duke Tommy Jones match going on right next door to Bill O'Neill. You saw Norm just run a shot out in front of Bill O'Neill, and again, that's part of the excitement of match play.
And another strike for O'Neill, that one in the 6th. This week's Just for Men hair color Live Forward moment features that man, Bill O'Neill, and here he is winning last season's 67th version of the Lumber Liquidators U.S. Open. Took care of Mike Scroggins there for his 1st career major, won that one 267 to 207. He beat Tommy Jones handily in the semis. O'Neill entered today's match play in 1st place, trying to use that momentum to live forward and successfully defend his U.S. Open title. Again, he started in 1st today. He has dropped slightly to 3rd right now. Strike there for Jason Belmonte. So 2 good buddies, part of the Rat Pack of the PBA, taking on each other right now over there on lanes 29 and 30.
I think the other thing, when you take a look at the leaderboard, Norm Duke, Tommy Jones, Bill O'Neill, Chris Barnes, these players have a great schematic of Carolier lanes, and it's 80 lanes across, but it's almost like bowling in 4 completely different bowling centers. And remember, in match play, the players are jumping around after each game, and having a good blueprint is a huge advantage.
So still just 1 strike here in game 7 for Jason Belmonte as he is falling behind quickly to his buddy Bill O'Neill. Talked about Pete Weber and the issues he was having with his right upper thigh groin in the last game, and here he is taking on Sean Rash over on lanes 23 and 24. A strike here for Pete in the 7th would give him the lead.
You see him just stand up at the foul line on that shot. It's just an indication of the great talent of Pete Weber. Even though he's not at 100%, he's not going to give up. Watch this. He's going to stand straight up on this shot and still throws 10 in the pit.
Yeah, that's why you're a Hall of Famer. You're able to work through issues like that. We'll keep our eye on Weber and more when we return to Jersey. More coverage from the U.S. Open tomorrow night right here on ESPN2, an hour's worth beginning at 10 p.m. Eastern, and then your conclusion to this edition of the U.S. Open Sunday at 3 Eastern on ESPN. 90 minutes worth of coverage right there. Norm Duke, your current tournament leader, taking on Tommy Jones here in game number 7 over on lanes 27 and 28. Duke working off a strike.
Yeah, he's working on a strike, Rob, looking to get back in this match. He leaves a 4-9 split, but great champion. He comes back and converts.
There's your Bear pain relief replay and a pain-reducing conversion there by Norm Duke. Norm has had more than his fair share of success at the U.S. Open. Won it all in 2008, and he won it here in this facility. The next year, he came in second to Mike Scroggins. So Duke at plus 855. Your current tournament leader, again, as we mentioned early on, a very fluid situation. Match play will continue through tomorrow afternoon.
Rob Duke was actually working on 2 strikes when he 4-9'd.
There's our first look at Ryan Shafer. It's the 7-pin to drop late, the native of Horseheads, New York, taking on John Szczerbinski. And that one over on lanes 21 and 22. There's Szczerbinski watching, former Wichita State All-American. And here's Ryan Shafer, 4 tour titles, 0 of the majors. But Randy, he has been in the midst of a lot of major hunts.
Yeah, he has 4 second-place finishes in majors and 6 third-place finishes. He knows what it takes to make the telecast for a major, but still looking for that first win.
And we have yet to see him on television this season in the TV finals. Only made 1 show last season. Finished 5th at the one-a-day Dick Weber Open. And only made 1 TV appearance the year before as well. Pretty looking stroke there by Shafer. And we pop back over to lanes 27 and 28. Norm Duke taking on Tommy Jones. Mike J., what's shaking over there in lanes 27 and 28?
Well, Tommy Jones taking a re-rack on 27 after the Norm Duke make of the 4-9. Norm always has an incredible way to fire himself up in the crowd behind him, but Jones can step up in the 10th and shut Duke down.
See the guys pausing, Randy, and looking to their left. A courteous kind of professionalism exists out here when all these lanes are being utilized.
Well, you have to give the pair left to right of you lane courtesy, and that's the entire pair. And that's huge. Tommy Jones now 9 spare. He will shut out Norm Duke. The best Norm Duke can shoot is 223. Tommy Jones 9 spare shoots 224. And that's huge. Tommy Jones is 128 pins behind Norm Duke in totals right now. That's separating first and second. So Tommy Jones looking to strike out here, shoot 235, pick up 30 bonus pins. Rob, it's like bowling 265.
That's a nice way to put it. Again, right now, your top 6 for now: Duke, Jones, O'Neill, Belmonte, Shafer, and Chris Barnes. That is a loaded top 6. 4 of those 6 have won the U.S. Open before. Here is Jones in second right now.
Well, now Norm Duke can step up and strike out and win this match. And again, winning match is paramount at a U.S. Open. Pins are so hard to come by. The 30 bonus pins at the end of 24 games of match play looms large.
Jones trying to shake that one off. Last time we saw him, late January, he finished 4th at the one-a-day Earl Anthony Memorial in Dublin, California. So he cleans that one up, and we'll take a seat and see what Norm Duke can do.
Norm Duke needs all 3 in the 10th to win by 1.
And Duke right now, your tournament leader. Will not get it. The messenger, not enough juice on that one.
You could see Norm Duke trying to find a home right around second arrow with a really soft hand, throwing it pretty straight. But again, the margin for error there is just like everywhere else on the lane at the U.S. Open. Nil.
Sean Rash taking on Pete Weber, lanes 23 and 24. Rash way right of target on that effort. And for more on this matchup, we go back down lane side to Mike J.
Well, gentlemen, I've got Tommy Jones, the leader. And Tommy, you withstood Norm Duke in a 4-9 conversion and survived in the 10th frame to maintain your lead.
Yeah, well, you know, Norm's been bowling really good all night. You know, that's the first loss he's had. There, you know, lanes are really hard tonight. You know, everything going on. It's just, you know, the pressure of the U.S. Open, and so see what happens. You know, fortunate to come out with a victory there, and hope to keep it going.
You've won this U.S. Open title before. Does that experience come in handy at times like this?
Well, I mean, for sure it does. I mean, there's, you know, we know they're hard, and you know that you're out there, and it's game to game, pair to pair, and you just got to take the good with the bad, and you can't let the highs be too high and the lows be too low, and you just have to keep an even keel. So, it definitely helps.
U.S. Open champion Tommy Jones looking to get the job done here in Game 8 and take the lead into tomorrow. Bob, Randy, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. So a big victory there for Tommy Jones as he continues to claw your current leader, Norm Duke. Our coverage, the 68th edition of the Lumber Liquidators U.S. Open, returns after this. We welcome you back to New Jersey. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Mike Jakubowski with you as we continue day 1 of 3 nights worth of coverage here at the 68th edition of the Lumber Liquidators U.S. Open. Time now for the Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood, and if it's the U.S. Open, you know it's going to be a challenging oil pattern, Randy.
Oh, right you are, Rob. This is 42 feet of nasty, 2 feet longer than the U.S. Open oil pattern last year in Indianapolis. With that being said, well, you're not going to see any of the players playing the outside part of the lane. So what does that mean? Well, because the oil pattern is so flat, it's a 1-to-1 ratio side to side, the players are going to play in. The players will always move in when there's no friction to the right because they're looking for hold. Bottom line, better hit what you're looking at, and you better repeat shots at the United States Open.
We shift over now to lanes 29 and 30. There is a live look at one of the 4 games we'll be covering here in game number 8. And it's John Szczerbinski taking on the legend Pete Weber. And Weber will start off with a delayed strike, and PD Dub won his last match to move into 10th place right now in match play round 1. Again, 3 rounds of match play total.
And Pete Weber showing his versatility. He can play all over the lane. But Rob, As you mentioned, he's in 10th, but now, by virtue of that last win, he is only 24 pins out of the 6th and final spot.
Well, Pete Weber had an injury issue, and now Tommy Jones appears to have something bothering him. Mike?
Maybe just a slight tweak, Rob. Back in the first frame, Tommy Jones made the spare but had an issue sticking the landing at the line, and open frame in the second, so just keep an eye on Tommy in the third.
Well, let's remember 2 weeks back when we saw Tommy Jones at the USBC Masters, he had an issue with the spares, primarily because he has an issue with his left hip area. You don't see it so much on the first ball, but on the spare ball, you see a lot of pain. There is Bill O'Neill taking on Tommy Jones. Game number 8 over there on lanes 21 and 22. Again, we are covering 4 games right now across 8 different lanes. Here's Jason Belmonte taking on Norm Duke, and he was able to pick that one up over on lane 23.
And again, that's huge. Anytime you can make splits, like we saw Norm Duke make the 4-9 split, Jason Belmonte avoids an open frame there by converting the washout as we take our first look at John Szczerbinski.
There's his effort in the second, so a strike after that 9 spare. John Szczerbinski from North Tonawanda, New York, works in Jack Jurek's Pro Shop. The bowler's choice, one of our favorites, Jack Jurek. Right of target there was your defending U.S. Open champ, Bill O'Neill. Here's Pete Weber taking on Szczerbinski. Weber's effort here in the third, coming off a strike in the second. Right through the nose.
And again, that's huge. When you go through the nose here, which is so easy to do, you avoid the big split. Pete leaves himself a relatively easy spare.
And O'Neill leaves an open frame as well as we flip back to the Weber-Szczerbinski matchup. Pete looking for a spare here. And he'll get it. So spare, strike, spare.
See, I said relatively easy spare.
Yes. I listen to you, my friend. Here's Tommy Jones taking on Bill O'Neill. Spare open frame thus far for TJ.
Him starting in front of the ball return there. Getting back to that issue with the hip, Tommy had an MRI done, Rob. He's got a bone spur that's irritating the nerve in that hip. And that's what's causing him all the discomfort.
And he's had a series of MRIs to try and find out what the problem is. So some new news there on the Tommy Jones front. Man, look how far left he is. All over that left gutter. He almost went Brooklyn there on that effort. And here he is, try and convert the spare in the third.
These players are used to playing the deep inside line. That's why you see a lot of them alter their approach.
There's Sean Rash, who's now taking on Ryan Shafer, and the smile says a lot for our buddy Sean Rash as he leaves the 10 pin.
With the 7.
Mike J standing by with the report on Norm Duke. Here is his effort in the third off a strike and an open frame in the third. Mike, what's going on with Norm?
Well, you always look for the opportunity for Norm Duke to work the crowd, and sometimes he uses adversity to get himself back into a match. And we saw him make the 4-9 but ultimately lose there, but he uses those little moments to gain momentum with the crowd to complement his great Hall of Fame physical game.
We saw that 2 years ago, guys, at the World Series of Bowling in Detroit, where he fell into a big early hole. And look at that scrappy strike from Jason Belmonte over on lane 24 as he is taking on Norm Duke right now.
A lot of speed, a lot of revs. He's moved a little bit right. I'm not sure if he's changed equipment, something that maybe is a little bit weaker or less reactive, but he has definitely moved right on the pair of lanes that he's on with Norm Duke right now, which is 23 and 24.
We begin the fourth. Belmo looking for a double here.
Tommy Jones has tightened this race up for the #1 seed. by winning Game 7.
Yeah, he's within 79 pins right now,
Yep.
Randy.
The Bulldog, Ryan Shafer.
Leaves some double wood in his match versus Sean Rash. And Jason cleans that one up in the third, so it's been nothing but spares for him thus far in his Game 8 versus Norm Duke. More live coverage from Jersey when the U.S. Open returns on ESPN2. And we welcome you back to the Brunswick Zone. Carolier here in North Brunswick, New Jersey. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Mike Jakubowski with you. As for the first time ever on national television, we present match play coverage of PBA action. We are in the midst of round 1 of 3, covering 8 lanes of coverage. We'll know tomorrow afternoon which 6 bowlers will make it to the TV finals, and our coverage of that one begins tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern here on ESPN2. On Sunday, the final 3 at 3 p.m. Eastern. It'll be a fun one. This is the 4th and final major of the season. And time now for the more of what matters to you fan question of the day, brought to you by the makers of One A Day. And it's for you, Randy. The PBA has a long history here. What is your favorite memory of bowling here?
Well, there were so many. I remember back in 1994 or 5, I was the only right-hander to make a telecast here. But I think my fondest memory, every year, Big Jack Hrodowski was a mainstay here, the manager here for so many years, and Johnny Petraglia. They used to put on the Paralyzed Wheelchair Veterans Tournament, where 12 of us professionals would be paired with these disabled veterans. And in 1994, we took a break from action during the tournament to go in the lounge, have some lunch, and watch Johnny Petraglia bowl on television. It was a national championship, and we all sat there and cheered Johnny on as he bowled a perfect 300 game that netted Johnny about $100,000.
Nice. I saw Johnny here earlier. He's taken in the action, lives in the vicinity here. Here's a live look at Ryan Shafer. His match versus Sean Rash. Uncorks that one right of target. Gets a little late kick to make that spare easier. And Johnny Petraglia, while we're talking about him, did bowl this week. Did pretty well, did the young man. Yeah,
he's going to be 64 here in a couple of days, and Johnny made it to the cashier's round. I think Johnny, I think his talents, well, let's say they were always underestimated. I think Johnny is probably one of the greatest players to ever throw a bowling ball in this tournament. He's still proving that he's got game, going on age 64.
There's Shafer looking for a 3-bagger here. Take that back. Obviously, his first shot was not a strike. Hard to get a 3-bagger when you're going for a spare. We're working on a intricate scoring system, which is just a smidge delayed at times for us, as you see what Shafer's done. And there's Pete Weber again having an injury issue. Jason Belmonte taking a seat as he's in the midst of his match versus Norm Duke. Here is Sean Rash taking on Shafer, lane 28, and Sean Rash having his difficulties since we've come on the air.
And you see Sean trying to take a page out of Norm Duke's book, trying to throw it real straight. And again, that's what a U.S. Open's all about. Players playing all over the place, trying to find a couple of boards at the target zone where they're looking on the lane to try to get the bowling ball in the pocket. Remember, it's Sean Rash just missed a spare. You didn't see that, but here's Tommy Jones lofting it on the left lane, lane 21, huge. He was working on a couple of strikes, I think, Rob.
At least 2. I can guarantee you that. Maybe 3. Take a look at our current leaders scrolling underneath, and there's Jason Belmonte at plus 576. Randy, real quick, explain what these plus 576 and plus 520s for Chris Barnes really means.
Okay, that's how many pins over a 200 average for the tournament every game, including bonus pins for winning a match and match play. Think Norm Duke liked that last shot, Rob?
A little bit. A little bit. Can always tell by his nonverbals where he is in his world.
And remember, talking with Norm Duke, Rob, it's all about winning major championships. Look how close he comes to that foul line. It's really the only thing Norm Duke gets excited about these days, winning majors.
Yeah, voted the 7th greatest player in PBA history. For more on the legend from Claremont, Florida, one of many PBA legends from Claremont, Florida, we go down to Mike J.
Gentleman, Jason Belmonte giving it right back to Norm Duke. He converted the 3-6, 7-10, puts a strike on the board, maintains a 1-pin lead, but it is battle of personalities at this point.
Yeah, two guys you would love to be stuck on a long Greyhound bus with, right? Jason Belmonte and Norm Duke, two absolutely winning personalities here on the PBA Tour. You see Norm looking up, and that is the look of a man doing math.
Well, you can really see it in Norm's face, the wear and tear that a U.S. Open has on a player, especially for an older player. Norm's not getting any younger. He's been on this tour for a long time. Only 9 seasons, in fact, for Norm Duke.
Jason Belmonte, a strike there for the 27-year-old from Australia. This just his 2nd year exempt on the tour as he seeks his 2nd career tour title. More from Jersey when our coverage of the U.S. Open returns after this. Bill O'Neill, your defending U.S. Open champ, taking on Tommy Jones over on lane 21 and 22. Jason Belmonte with an effort right there. Tommy Jones about to step up. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson with you. And with this hectic event, it is great to have Mike Jakubowski, Mike J. Laneside from PBA Extra Frame down there to keep an eye on all these matches. And Mike, give us your up-to-date little window right there.
Well, Tommy Jones just shot 200, so O'Neill basically needs a mark to win there. He'd like to pad that with more strikes. Pete Weber has finished with 179. Szczerbinski can put him away. Ryan Shafer has finished 223, 233 and shut out Sean Rash. And Belmo and Duke still at play, and we have a lead by Jason Belmonte, 10 pins entering the 10th. Duke on a strike.
Well, thank you, Mike. And remember, 30-pin bonus if you win your head-to-head matchup. There's a big strike on lane 22 for your defending champ.
And that's the mark he needed to win that match. Bill O'Neill currently 89 pins behind Tommy Jones. He can strike out, shoot 217 with 30 bonus pins. He can pick up 47 pins on Tommy Jones.
How quickly things can swing. And again, match play coverage continues here tomorrow morning and afternoon. And match play will determine our 6 TV finalists. And again, live coverage tomorrow night. Late one for us, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. You'll see the 6, 5, and 4 seeds in action. And then the finals Sunday on ESPN, 3 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Here's Jason Belmonte. Pounds that rack.
He just shredded that rack. That's a 10-pin match right there, Belmonte, with one more. Well, let's see. He can strike out, shoot 215. Cannot shut out Norm Duke because Norm's working on a strike in the 9th. Norm Duke can also strike out to shoot 215.
Jason Belmonte, again, just one Lumber Liquidator PBA Tour title, and this match has the potential for a tie. And again, if there is a tie, both bowlers will earn a 15-pin bonus.
Remember Norm Duke's last match, he needed all 3 in the 10th to win by 1. Didn't happen. Yeah, it didn't happen for him. Jason Belmonte right now, big shot coming up, Phil shot. If he strikes here, he cannot lose, and he will get a minimum of 15 pins of bonus. Same scenario. Norm Duke, 3 in the 10th, wins by 1.
Jason Belmonte from Australia currently in 5th, right behind him by 56 pins, and that will change as Chris Barnes, who is in 6th place. Barnes in action out of our TV viewing area. We have 8 lanes covered. We've got a loaded field on those 8 lanes, including this man, Norm Duke. 3 strikes to win, and there is 1. 2 to go for Storm and Norman. Seeking his 34th career tour title. He's only made television once this season. He finished runner-up at the Brunswick Pro Bowling Cheetah Championship in Las Vegas.
Nothing gets his adrenaline going more than trying to win a major. And Norm's won the U.S. Open before. He knows what it takes to win in this building. And he also knows how to throw strikes on such a demanding oil pattern.
And the messenger misses the 10, and Belmonte will defeat Norm Duke. So Duke seeing his lead get picked away at as Belmo, the 5 seed currently, gets a big win.
But Tommy Jones doesn't pick up any ground because Norm Duke with a spare is going to be in the mid 190s. It'll be 194 to be exact. Tommy Jones will only pick up 6 pins on your tournament leader, Norm Duke.
And Norm was able to convert that spare, and that'll put the books on match game number 8 here of round 1 of match play. Jason Belmonte, a big 10-pin victory over Norm Duke. More from North Brunswick, New Jersey when we return. Time now for our Geico Championship recap. And Randy, we recap the 3 majors that have been completed already this season.
Chris Barnes here at the World Championships, and he was flawless on this day. Taking out Bill O'Neill 267-237.
And we stayed in Vegas for the Tournament of Champions, and what a show Mika Koivuniemi put on.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to mention the fact that he beat Tom Doherty 299-100, but you're right. What a show he put on. For $250,000, 299, 269, and all that cash. Then it's Tom Hess here at the USBC Masters just a couple weeks ago. He needed the first hit in the 10th frame to win his first ever tournament. Forget about the fact that it was a major. Boy, this guy put on a great show, didn't he, Rob?
Man, I wish he just could have shown some more emotion for us.
Right?
It's really kind of a blasé, laissez-faire victory for Tom Hess over Jack Jerk. One of the many memorable moments we have seen lately here on the PBA Tour. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson back here with you. And we are done today with match play. 2 more rounds tomorrow morning and then tomorrow afternoon. That will determine our 6 TV finalists. As of now, heading into the night, Norm Duke, a man who's had a lot of success at majors and particularly here at the U.S. Open in this facility, sits on top for now.
Well, he got off to a great start. He won his first 6 matches, lost the last 2. Scores are a little hard to follow from where you and I are sitting. Norm Duke actually bowled a 200 game, so he actually picked up 5 pins over second-place Tommy Jones. But with 16 games of match play left, and we saw it in the 2 games that we just covered, a lot can happen in just how huge the 30 bonus pins really is.
Again, the top 6 will advance to our TV finals. That begins tomorrow night on ESPN2 at 10 p.m. Eastern as we take a look at the top 10 right now. And it's hard to find a safe number, so to speak, because of the talent that exists here as you take a look at the top 8 and how many of these guys have won the U.S. Open before. And you've seen tonight, just through 2 games, how much fluctuation there really is through the course of this tournament.
Well, Norm Duke almost has a 300-pin lead on the show. So that's 6th place. So if you're Norm Duke, you're feeling pretty good at this point.
All right, Norm Duke on top right now. Mike J standing by lane side with him live right now.
Norm Duke, you've won one of these, but this tournament absolutely wrings every ounce of everything out of you.
It does. You know, it's such a mental grind. Today we were on the floor for 11 hours, and 11 hours of just constantly grinding on what to do, and then trying to get yourself mentally prepared to make the greatest shot of your life for 11 solid hours. And you know, physically I'm all right. Mentally I'm toast. I saw it in the other guys. I mean, I look up, I'm in the lead, and I feel like I'm in last. It's hard out there. It's hard. It's the U.S. Open. You know, I watch the golf. It's much like that. The only thing is in their tournaments, they're not on the floor 11 hours.
And someone's going to have to beat this man tomorrow. Norm Duke sleeping on the lead here at North Brunswick.
Well, it's an absolute ride. As Norm Duke still has some energy to give Mike J a little needling. Our coverage continues tomorrow night here on ESPN2, an hour's worth at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then our championship match Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. 90 minutes worth of coverage there. And then next week we head up north, Cheektowaga, New York, right outside of Buffalo, for the Mark Roth Plastic Ball Championship. For Randy, Mike J, and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. Hope you enjoyed the first time you've ever seen match play bowling on national television. We'll see you tomorrow night at 10 Eastern.